Today's news. Today's news.
Michigan primary. Democrats sent messages, Republicans sent messages. Texas wildfires. We have evacuated our personnel, non-essential personnel. Working to stop a shutdown.
Pushing back the government funding deadline.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. Michigan gave Donald Trump another Republican presidential primary win. For President Biden, 13% of the Democratic primary vote did not go his way, as we hear from CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
It's a win for President Biden, but the result signaled discontent over the president's foreign policy. The ballot option, uncommitted, earned more than 100,000 votes.
I voted uncommitted because our president is not hearing our voices when we say that we want a ceasefire.
Michigan has one of the highest concentrations of Arab Americans in the country, and many used their vote to protest the president's support of the war in Gaza.
We're still sent the sheriff across Fairfield and Robert Stephen across Michigan.
In Michigan's Republican primary, Donald Trump thanked voters last night for his win after taking aim earlier in the day at his GOP opponent.
Nikki, is that even a fact, or she's become a joke?
Despite another loss for former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, she is remaining in the race, at least through next week's Super Tuesday contest, and said the Michigan results are a flashing warning sign for the former president after she received about a third of the vote.
Down in Texas, CBS's Omar Villafranca has details on 4 major wildfires.
Just outside Amarillo in the Texas Panhandle, a wall of flames burns the ground and thick choking smoke fills the sky.
We've had other fire threats and came out unscooped, and this one got us.
Kelsey Benuelos evacuated her home in Canadian with her 2 young children, her husband, and animals.
Oh my gosh.
The place she called home for 7 years burned to the ground.
It was heartbreaking. I broke down, but I mean, we were safe. It should stop. It could be replaced, but it's still a gut punch.
The fires stretched into western Oklahoma, where more than 30,000 acres have burned so far.
In the upper Midwest, there's scattered storm damage after wind and rain. West of Chicago, Tim Adornetto got a text from his daughter just before the storm battered her apartment building.
I had to get away from the window. She went in the closet, part of her kitchen ceiling collapsed, but thankfully she's unscathed.
Storm caused flight cancellations and delays at O'Hare Airport. Hundreds went into the airport's emergency shelter. A Republican lawmaker in Alabama has introduced a bill in the state Senate to protect the IVF industry from criminal charges and civil lawsuits. 3 major facilities paused procedures after the state's highest court ruled frozen embryos had the same rights as children. Several sources tell CBS News House Speaker Mike Johnson has put a new offer on the table in an effort to avert a government shutdown at week's end. CBS's Clarissa Lawson.
The offer involves potentially pushing back the government funding deadlines to March 8th and March 22nd. A spokesperson for the House Speaker says any continuing resolution would be part of a larger agreement to finish a number of appropriations bills, ensuring adequate time for drafting text and for members to review prior to casting votes.
President Biden wants Congress to approve a Ukraine funding package, too. CBS's Charlie Daggett visited a new Russian war target, the town of Chasiv Yar.
Explosions were nonstop as we arrived to find a town ravaged by artillery fire and troops asking for help. Ruben Sarakani is a soldier with the 5th Assault Brigade. He said, "We're counting on our American partners to help us with weapons so that our guys do not have to sacrifice their lives." But the Russians have the upper hand here now. More weapons, more manpower, and more willingness to expend both.
Those close to the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny say his funeral will take place Friday in a Moscow church, with burial at a nearby cemetery. There's been a legal setback for a member of Britain's royal family.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. Lawyers for Prince Harry say he'll appeal today's judgment, which upheld the government's decision that the Duke of Sussex lost his right to automatic police protection here when he ceased to be a working royal. The Home Office has said Harry's security will continue to be decided on a case-by-case basis. It said it's pleased with today's ruling.
Italian reports say Pope Francis went to a hospital for a checkup today, but returned to the Vatican. He has a case of the flu. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News Adventures.